just came from guitar class today, and my guitar sounded strange. It sounded out of tune. So my teacher said, hey, you'd better check your guitar strings. So there's an app where you can check your guitar strings. Guess the country.
Now you know which country it is? It's time to find out the 9 things you need to know about Czechia. Alright, let's start with number 9. Čísla 9. Čísla 9, or number 9 in Czech. Czechia is in the middle of Europe, and you can say that it is the heart of Europe because it is in the center of all the action. Although it is in the heart of Europe where all the things are happening, it is also landlocked. That means it has no access to the sea. And when you're landlocked, there are many problems related to being landlocked. Watch this animation to find out what these problems are. Here comes problem number 1, problem number 2, and finally here comes problem number 3. Well, here are the other problems. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and finally number 6. Kaboom! So these problems have something to do with the setting of the story that we're going to read next week. Alright, Čísla 8, or number 8 in Czech. Czechia today is made up of 3 parts: Silesia, Bohemia, and Moravia. Between the years 600 and 800 AD, the Čechy tribe arrived in Bohemia and Moravia. They didn't settle in Silesia. For around 500 years, the Czechs lived peacefully. Then in 1348, Charles University, one of the oldest universities in Europe, was founded. And this was the peak of power for the Kingdom of Bohemia, because this was a time when Silesia joined their lands. And then, in the year 1526, something happened. Remember what I said about landlocked countries? Their neighbors can easily invade them. So, their neighbors, the Habsburgs, who come from present-day Austria, invaded Bohemia. And they ruled Czechia for more than 300 years. On the one hand, being landlocked means you have a lot of enemies. On the other hand, being landlocked also means you have a lot of friends. To the southeast, their best friend was Slovakia. And this is basically what happened in 1848.
Let's pretend there were phones back then, okay? It's just my imagination. Bear with me. Only my imagination. Okay. So I'm from Czechia. Hello? You know what? I'm tired of the Habsburgs being in my country. They've been in my country for such a long time. They need to go back to Austria. You know what? We're just losing all our culture and our language. And, you know, like, it's time for them to get out of our country, man. Yeah, I hear you. You know, like, you guys from Bohemia, you guys are like our friends because we share the same language, and similar culture, and we've been through the same thing. You know, I'm sick and tired of the Habsburgs being in Slovakia also. They're so annoying, right? Yeah, they are so annoying, right? I think we need to meet up and then let's plan something.
Czechia and Slovakia's plan didn't work out because war broke out in 1914. So basically all the countries in Europe were fighting each other except Switzerland and other countries, and then they were fighting and fighting and fighting. Now, Czechia was part of the Central Powers because they were under Austria-Hungary. So the Central Powers were basically the Ottoman Empire, which is Turkey today, Austria-Hungary, and Germany. Guess who lost the war? I'll give you a clue. All of them end with a Y. And as we all know from history, the Central Powers, Austria-Hungary, Germany, and Turkey, or the Ottoman Empire, lost the war. And so Austria-Hungary was like, hey, okay, we've lost the war. What now? What do we have to do now? And then Russia was like, I am the biggest guy here. Privyet. Let Czechia and Slovakia go. And so the country of Czechoslovakia was born in 1918. However, again, as a landlocked nation, the neighbors came and invaded again. In 1938, it was the Germans this time who invaded Czechoslovakia. And as we know, by the end of 1945, the Nazi Germans lost the war and had to give up Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia became a free country, but in 1948 it became a communist country because of Russia's influence. Now Russia started losing power, so in 1993 the Soviet Union, or the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, fell and it became a Russian Republic. And because of this, all the communist countries started falling as well. Czechoslovakia finally became two countries, Czechia and Slovakia, in 1993. We've had number 9, we've had number 8, now it's time for Číslo 7, or number 7 in Czech. Here's number 7. Czechia has more castles than any other country in Europe. Okay, because of time constraints, only 3 will be introduced. One is located in Prague, one is located down south near Austria, and the third one is near České Budějovice. And yes, it took me 7 tries to pronounce that word correctly. First, let's talk about Prague Castle. At 77,000 square meters, it is the largest castle in the world, and it is actually larger than 2 countries. Second, Lubaka Castle. People in Czechia say this castle looks like Windsor Castle in the UK, so it is said to be the prettiest castle. Out of the 2,000 castles in Czechia, the Český Krumlov Castle is considered to be the most well-preserved. Castles aren't just for visitors. You can actually stay in a castle because there are castle hotels all over Czechia, one of which is the Chateau Letnice. Now we have number 6, or Číslo 6. That's number 6 in the Czech language. People in Czechia drink and make a lot of beer. What are the top 5 beer drinking countries in the world? In 5th place, Poland with 0.26 liters per day. In 4th place, we have the country of Germany. They drink on average 0.27 liters per day. In 3rd place, we have the country of Romania. Just like Germany, they drink around 0.27 liters per day. In 2nd place, another country is Austria. And they drink a little bit more, 0.29 liters per day. And who's the winner? Czechia. They drink around 0.38 liters per day, making them the top beer consuming country in the world. Congratulations. Are you ready for Číslo 5, or number 5? I think you're ready. So here comes Číslo 5, or number 5 in the Czech language. So why do Czech people drink so much beer? First reason, maybe it's because of the stress. Remember, the Habsburgs, the Germans, the Russians, they all invaded Czechia. And being in the middle of Europe, it meant that they were easy targets. So to deal with the stress, they drink beer. Second, it's their culture and their way of social interaction. Some people go to a club or a pub. They talk, they meet people. Other nations, they smoke, they drink different kinds of teas or chew some tobacco. And some nations, they prefer drinking wine. But in Czechia, that is their way of talking to each other through beer. 3. Tradition. They have been making beer since the 6th century. You can say that they are the masters of that craft. Number 4. Cost. In Czechia, drinking beer is even less expensive than drinking soda and water. Number 5. The climate. Southern European countries like Italy, Spain, southern parts of France, they're good at making wine because of the climate there. But Czechia's climate is very different, so they make beer instead of wine. Finally, quality. If you look at beer from other countries, sometimes you'll see the word Pilsen. So that is one way of making beer. Where did that word come from? It's actually from a town in Czechia. It was in this town where the Pilsen way of making beer was invented. And guess what the name of that town is? Of course, it is Pilsen.